In this competitive job market, do you feel like you're rising to the top or feeling like you're just not the right candidate? In this series, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes job seekers are making that's not getting them the job. Hi, I'm Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and we have so much great insight on how to change that brain to get the job done. In this competitive market, it's really hard to be the top candidate. And there are 5 major mistakes that job seekers are missing. In order to get that candidacy, what they need to do is be able to retrain the brain. So the number 1 reason talented candidates are getting rejected is the fact that they are not giving and selling a value proposition. In our brain, remember, there are 4 barriers that trauma bring on that prevent us from being successful. And they are fear of success, fear of failure, self-sabotage, and scarcity mindset. What we find is that because of these barriers, what we're doing is we're underselling ourselves. We're missing the close. And so the more that we are setting intentions, we're using and really maximizing on that elevator speech. You remember a couple of days ago we talked about mastering the job search. That elevator speech is what is creating fluidity amongst the entire process. So go back to that video. It'll be a link in the video description. And so we're missing and losing our set intentions. And so the more that we have purpose, the more that we have those clear 3 things that really set us apart, and we're putting it out there. We're saying, this is in the beginning, this is it. Like, I am your person. This is what makes me uniquely qualified for this job. We are reminding and slipping them in and taking notes on what is the need of the employer. What are they asking for? What are they saying they want when it comes to their job that they're filling? We're writing those down. Write it down. Take notes in the interview. And then what we're doing is we're asking questions. And are we asking questions that we don't know the answer? No, we're not. We're asking questions where we know that we are the best candidate and we're giving them the answer. That is how you sell it. That is how you seal the deal. And then in the very end, we're doing a closing argument. We're saying, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. I really see how we are going to be able to work together, and I am the best candidate for this job. I know that you are looking for X, Y, and Z, and I know that my skills of A, B, and C are the perfect match for you. That is how we're going to sell ourselves. That is how we're going to close. That is the value proposition. So get back at it. Don't fail. Don't feel like failing is only when you give up. Realize what your value proposition is. And if you aren't able to connect with one, contact me. Let's build one together. Our second mistake is the follow-up strategy is what's killing our chances. You've got to get out there. It is competitive. It's an employer market. So number 2, follow up. Get a follow-up thank you letter. Thank you. Get the every single name, email, mailing address, whatever you need to be able to send every person on that panel. I'm so glad that I was able to talk to you. What else are we doing? We're putting those 3 intentions back out there. This was such a pleasure talking with you. As I said, I know that your visions, or as you said, I know your visions are A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z. And I know how we can do this together. I'm already really excited about this, and I can't wait to hit the ground running. That's your follow-up. A nice little thank you letter that says, I noticed you, and I'm willing to do the extra mile to make sure our partnership leads to success. Again, it's following up that value proposition as well as sharing with them and keeping the conversation going. Tuesday at 3 o'clock is the best time to send this, because people are finally getting past all of the chaos from the weekend and last week and finally starting to settle before they get into this week's work. So put it out there, send that thank you note. It's very crucial to staying on top of the game. Mistake number 3 is cultural misalignment and red flags. So if you are finding yourself stuck in labels, this is a part of that value proposition, right? Labels are not meant to be badges worn, to say that these are my limits, this is my ceiling. Labels were meant in a medically driven model to say that here is a diagnosis and here is a treatment that goes with it. That's all it's supposed to be. Is it's supposed to be professional language to say, this is kind of where I see the symptoms going, and I'm going to call it this name, and therefore we're going to treat the symptoms with this method. It's not meant to be, this is who I am and this is the limits that I have. It does not matter. Remember last week we said there's a myth when it comes to neurotypical. There is a myth. There is no neurotypical. So don't wear your symptoms on your sleeve. Don't put those labels out there, because what you're doing is you're saying that I can only do a subset of work, that I am not a team player, that I am committed to this small margin of ability. And that's not what people are looking at in an employer, I should say, driven market. You really have to say, I can do it all. I'm gonna set boundaries because it's healthy and I have value for myself, but I am capable. There are no limits. There are no ceilings anymore in this day. So don't put them on yourself. Number 4, big mistake, and this is a hard one. It comes back to value. Isn't that amazing? It all comes together. Salary negotiations and the pitfalls that come with salary negotiations. It's really hard to put a number on yourself and to value yourself. And do you charge your value? Do you charge your hourly rate? Where are you getting this? And I do a lot of transitioning military, right? They've been in the military. They are in a we mindset. You do not have an I in team. And I'm trying to mold them and coach them into, you got to sell yourself. And you don't have to say that I am the greatest, but you need to say I have a specific set of skills that in this situation is going to make me excel and make you have pain. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't watch Taken. It was a long time ago, but it is a specific set of skills. It is going to help you get that job. You are the right person. And it's not about I'm so amazing. It's more about here's what you need. Here's my solution. And I think I'm the best candidate to offer that solution. But as they go through tabs, the first thing that they do, or one of the first things they do, is they say, well, how much money do you need to make? Well, that's a terrible decision on how to set your value, on how much money you need to make. The military and college students are some of the most vulnerable when it comes to money pitfalls, because they see guaranteed income and they come in and say, let me be the person who gives you some credit. So the money that you actually need may not reflect the value in what that job is and what they're willing to pay. And it goes to, the job market is going to people who are able to work harder for less money. Why? Because it's an employer market. So you need to find the value that is encompassing of all of the role. Compensation is only one part of a salary and how you have value in that job. And so if you need a resume update, like you need to have something that says my resume is active and I am actively working, then that is a big value bonus. If you need to just get your foot in the door and you're like, if they could just see how I work, I know I will slam it. I can double my salary. I have that faith in myself. I have the capacity to make the money I need. I don't necessarily need to say that this is the time I need to do it. Or maybe you're cush and you're like, I don't love my job, but it's time to go. And I'm going to set some real strong boundaries in the job that I have right now. And I'm going to be very, very firm on not getting into the same toxic environment. So I am going to say, this is my worth. And if you want to take me, take me. And if you don't, I'm still living large. I still have what I need. And when we can zoom out and see the value as a whole and what is working and what is not working, what serves us, what doesn't serve us, we really see a different relationship in what our worth is and what the job's value is to us. And the fifth, the final mistake, closing communication errors. Again, that closing argument is huge. It really will set you apart. And so what you want to do is you want to wrap it all together. You want to say, I hear that your need is blank. I have the solution. With my set of skills and abilities, I know I can make your need come be together, right? And I can solve this problem. That is what a closing communication is. And then having set ideas of what are the next steps. And that next step is writing that thank you note, putting it out there, that what you guys talked about, you've heard, you've digested, and you've shared it back to them. That interpersonal skills, that networking, it is crucial and it is important. And we're going to do bonus content. Bonus content is psychological hacks that will create interviewing success. Take the time to deep breathe. Box breathing, 4, 4, 4, 4. 4, hold 7, 8. 4, 7, 8. 4 in, hold 7, 8 out. 4 in, hold 7, 8 out. That will help you to start connecting to your mind and body. Find a grounding object, whether it's your pen, whether it is maybe something that is in your pocket. Find something that is a grounding object. Go back to keep setting your mind to what is the problem being presented and what is my solution. Think about the problem being presented, what is my solution, and how does it, and then throw it through the filter of what are my intentions. That way, it's all action oriented, so you don't get into that emotional reactionary place. That emotional reactionary place is what's tanking you. And it has no place, the amygdala has no place in a job interview. So send it off on its way, say, we're not doing this, amygdala. Of course it's stressful, I expect it to be stressful. I'm putting myself out there and I'm seeing what's gonna happen. I have no idea what's gonna happen. And of course I'm stressed out, but I don't need you. I know I am capable of calming myself, so I am going to do grounding objects. I know I am capable of being in this job, and they wouldn't ask me to be here if I wasn't capable, if I didn't have the skills needed that were reflective of the minimum. So I'm gonna listen, I'm going to process, executive function, this is the good stuff, leadership skills right here. I'm gonna process, I'm gonna put it through, okay, how does this relate to me? And then I'm gonna give them an answer. And it is okay to say, that's a really good question. I really wanna think about that for a minute. When I think about it and then go through your process, well, these are the things that I do and you're saying this is what you need. Let them see your thought process. That is not a weakness. It says that you have critical thinking skills that they need, that you're not just gonna run off the cuff and take them wherever they know that they're gonna be. I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and if you are needing some help with coaching on your job and your success, I have the answers. I have over 20 years of clinical experience, 10 in the career counseling field, coaching people to get the job that they are wanting and deserving. So please schedule that free 15-minute session. Link is in the video description. We've got a lot of great work this week. We are looking at the cycles that we get into following the chapters in our interpersonal effectiveness workbook, we are looking at the cycles we get into. So hit a like, share with somebody who's suffering through that job search right now and getting those interviews and not closing. Hit the thumbs up. Follow me and subscribe and get great information on how to build social and emotional intelligence for the professional, and really the anxious overachiever professional and entrepreneur is what my channel is all about. But it really does apply to anybody who's looking to up their game.